Hey everyone, it's Kong, and I've got the first episode of Kong Plays Langrisser. I'm going to be playing through the Langrisser I on the new Langrisser I and II remake. Just kind of taking it easy, scenario by scenario, fairly chill, casual playthrough. But I thought it might be interesting just to walk through each scenario. So I have played the original Warsong on Genesis. I played through that a few times actually. It came out in 91, and I was also around in 91, so it was one of the games that got me into strategy and tactical games. One of a handful, actually. This and Romance of the Three Kingdoms. Good old games like that. So I'm just going to hire a few troops here. The normal way to beat this map is just to retreat to the north with Narm. But I'm hiring a few troops just to... oh, Jessica has the white dress. That's in the Secret Realm shop in Langrisser M now. So yeah, I'm just going to hire a few troops and basically kind of test the waters and see how easy it'll be to beat this map the alternative way, which is to defeat all the enemies. Which is really difficult in Warsong, but possible. Now I should mention that this remake is actually going to be fairly different from Warsong, just because it's actually a remake of Warsong. So Warsong came out in 91 on the Genesis, and then they remade it for PlayStation and Sega Saturn. And this game's a remake of that remake. So it's a fairly straightforward, faithful remake of the remake, from what I'm led to believe, but the remakes are pretty different in terms of layout and stuff like that from the Genesis game. So I'll probably have a few surprises in store for me. Just gonna go in here with Leaden and attack these troops, and that did not do as much damage as I hoped it would do. I figure my commander's much stronger than my troops, so I was expecting some big damage there. Okay, if it's going to take me attacks from like 3 of my units just to finish one of their regular troops, I think I'm going to be too lazy to try to beat this map that way. So I think I'm going to change tactics here and start running north. Probably work on a full clear of this map another time, but just in the interests of cracking into the game, I'm going to go visit Narm and carry on. Let's go down here and grab this sparkly thing. Okay, so that is a hidden treasure. Good, that's good to know. Cavalry are very useful for grabbing hidden treasures. I guess they're not very hidden if they're sparkly on the map. It's interesting because in the original game, equipment was not super common. There were only like a few pieces of equipment, and you would give one to each of your commanders to basically have like an effect or a stat boost. Just checking the controls in here. I find the cursor movement and stuff is a little bit janky. I mean, let's face it, everything's a little bit janky. This kind of flat, goofy art on the sprites and stuff kind of reminds me of like a Game Maker game. Or kind of a cheap... I hate to insult it, but I don't know, the style just feels a little cheap. That said, I would like to, at least for the first few scenarios, leave the new remake art and music on, just so that I can give them their due. I'm more familiar with the retro art and the retro music, but that also means that I'm a little comfortable with it, so why not try something different? Okay, I take your point. I don't really want to be the cause of all these soldiers suffering. What do we get here? Some money? So let's go, fellas. Let's get out of here. Yeah, this cursor, I don't know, it's clunky or something. It doesn't feel smooth. Part of it is probably that I'm still getting used to the controls. You know, once it all becomes second nature, cycling between your characters and confirming stuff, I'm sure it'll be a little quicker than this. So at least Volkov was able to take some troops. Good to know he's still got it. The transitions into the little battle cutscenes are okay. Oh, that effect on his sword slash was so janky. It really just kind of looked like background animation. Not really intimidating. So my NPC's doing a great job of clogging up this right lane. Oh no! So depending on how capable Jessica and Cassel are... Oh my... I hope there's a way to speed up those spell animations. That was painful. Okay, so Cassel not looking too competent in terms of wiping out enemies. So yeah, this is going to be a tricky one to actually do a full clear, but I'll come back and try that another time. I'm trying to keep it extra chill right now, so we'll just continue our leisurely retreat. Sorry, spearman. Sorry, trooper. Soldier, I guess they are. Okay, so that's how we speed up those cutscenes. Let's try to find some. See if I can see if there's actually a fast forward button listed in the controls here. Doesn't look like it. And even the menus are a little bit janky. So that shows us what team each unit's on. Alright, let's just get going here. It's a good thing Langrisser is, at its core, such an excellent game in terms of mechanics and stuff. Like, I really like the class upgrade mechanics and the maps and combat and stuff themselves are really good. But usually, I don't know, I find games that are a little bit not as high quality try to kind of gloss over everything with a nice shiny coat of paint. This game's a little bit the opposite. It's got a really strong core to it, and then it's really the kind of graphics and stuff like that that let it down. But again, that's just subjective. I'm sure there are people who think these kinds of cutesy sprites and art are actually really charming and fitting with the game. I'm sure a lot of it is just nostalgia too. Like, I have kind of a soft spot for those retro, like Genesis and Super Nintendo style graphics with the really, really simplified sprites. Like, they had the sprites for the characters on the map had to be so simple, they were just like little triangle figures. But I think with a game like this, that's really based around the tactical placement and stuff, you know, you can get away with having really abstract or simple character models. Oh yeah, those spells are so slow, even with the fast forward button. So yeah, I initially wanted to kind of keep the battle animations on just to see what all the units look like, and because it's cute, but I don't know, I think with the clunkiness and the overall pace, I am going to end up skipping through the majority of them like I'm doing right now. It'll make these videos a lot faster though. I do that in Fire Emblem too. I like to keep the combat animations on for a while just to get a feel for what everything looks like and kind of take in the charm of all the little attack animations and stuff, but before too long I usually just end up turning them off because they break up the flow. Especially in a game like this where every single one of your troops is going into combat. You know, you end up breaking to that little animation so many times during the course of one battle that I'd rather keep the flow up. Okay, so heal up these mermen since they're standing right next to Taylor. Oh, well, here it is, one-on-one combat between commanders. So close. Let's see if the mermen can finish that guy off. Oh, nice. Taylor taking down 2 whole units in that turn. Taylor needs to be in Langrisser M. It's really frustrating because his character is in the game as an NPC and he's not even summonable. So I'm really hoping they do add him. The Langrisser I characters in general kind of get the shaft. Like, Ledin is great, and Chris is actually really good for an SR unit. And Bozel kinda doesn't count because he's in a bunch of the games. I don't really consider him to be in the mobile game as a Langrisser I character. So there we go, we finished that. Ledin got away successfully. Not too bad, just still kind of getting used to the controls and stuff, so hopefully that becomes a little less annoying and jarring. So, yeah, we'll pick this up with Scenario 2 in the next video. Thanks for watching.